This episode of the Slipcast is brought to you by the Mad Canadian Bbq Company. The Mad Canadian Bbq Company is an Ohio-based company where they say our seasoning will take your barbecue from good to great. Be sure to check out the Mad Canadian in Cary over at the OLC Shrine Cafeteria from 4 to 7 this Thursday. This is the only time this week that you'll get the Mad Canadian, so be sure to hit them up again this Thursday at the OLC Shrine Cafeteria from 4 to 7 o'clock. Be sure to hit up his social medias, Facebook and Twitter, to find out more information about him and his food truck and where he'll be heading next week. Mad Canadian Bbq Company, the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
This episode of the Sloopcast is also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. Who? The Iron Bean Coffee Company is a world-class, hand-roasted, micro-batch, fresh roast to order, veteran-owned coffee company. All of their beans are fair trade certified. All of their beans are USDA organic. Did I say they're out of Perrysburg, which is near Toledo, Ohio? If not, I just said it again. Or if so, I just said it again. If not, I just said it. I got there. It's all good. They import all of their high-quality coffee beans directly from Colombia, Brazil, Uganda, Honduras, Peru, Ethiopia, Indonesia, and other far-off lands. Some of their most popular coffees are available in K-Cup. Gift cards are available, free shipping over $50, and you can save money with a subscribe and save service. I will talk a little bit about some coffees, some individual coffees in the next ad break, so stay tuned for that. But for right now, you can go find all those coffees for yourself over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
How's it going, everybody?
Kyle,
hopefully everybody's having a good week here.
Let's do a quick bonus Ask Sloopcast in the secret part of the show just for the YouTube audience. Buckeye Esquire in our live chat, which is right down here. You can join the shenanigans by going to patreon.thesloopcast.com. $3 tier is all you need. Which silver bullet is poised for the next hurt my feelings style hit? I think I'm gonna go. Do I go Craig Young? I could go Craig Young. I might go Craig Young. I don't know. What do you guys think? Mitchell, maybe. What do you think, Kyle?
You know what? I'll stick with linebackers here, and I'll go with Cody Simon.
Cody Simon. I think that's another good one.
All right, Jared, let's go ahead and get the show started here.
Ronnie Hickman might be the right answer. Buckeye Zach. We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing pretty well over here, Jared. How are you doing tonight, good friend?
Oh, you called me a good friend. That was a very sweet way to start the show, Kyle. I saw someone in the YouTube comments suggest that I hate you, which is hilarious because of how far from the truth it is. Kyle's my buddy. I don't hate Kyle. All right, Kyle. It's enough. That's enough of that stuff. It's enough of the friendly stuff.
Just when I beat you in the picks. That's it.
Which hasn't. I mean, we're tied for the year so far. Just saying.
Yeah. More on that later. All right, Jared. It is time. This time, let's jump right into it here. Let's go ahead and get to know our enemy, the Maryland Terrapins.
Kyle, what the hell's a terrapin?
Turtle.
Okay. I think tortoise might be the more correct answer. Yeah, it's I think it's just a tradition on the show that I ask you that. I think I ask you that every year, and I think I just had to keep the tradition going.
Yep. Maryland Terrapins coming into this game 4-1, 1-1 in the Big Ten, coming off a abysmal loss to Iowa where they lost 51-14 at home.
Yeah.
Now, Jared, is Maryland as good as what their record makes out to be? 4-1. Well, answer that question. Let's look at their schedule here, Jared. They open things off with a home win over West Virginia. Okay, you get a victory over an average, maybe below average Big 12 team. Okay, all right, that's fine. You shut out Howard, did what they're supposed to do, but it's Howard.
Sure.
3-point victory over Illinois, and win convincingly over Kent State. And then I just mentioned this, but a abysmal loss to Iowa, 51-14. So with all that, what do we make of this Maryland team?
They're as you've pointed out, they've played one real team and they got absolutely destroyed. Tua had an abysmal game, which he had good games prior to that. He had only thrown one interception through his first 4 games and then threw 5 against Iowa. Iowa scored 31 points in the second quarter alone, if that tells you anything. And 31 points is a lot for Iowa to score in a game, and they did it in a quarter on the back of a lot of turnovers.
Let me tell you a little bit about that. So end of the first quarter, Maryland's winning 7-3. You're like, okay. Let's see how Iowa responds. Immediately in the second quarter, Iowa scores a touchdown, takes 3 seconds off of the second quarter. Okay. And then an interception by I believe it was an interception there by Maryland, and Iowa scores a touchdown immediately, another turnover, a touchdown, and before you know it, within 5 minutes in going into the second quarter, when it was 7-3 Maryland, it was 24-7. And then Iowa tacked on 10 more points before halftime, making it 34-7. And by that time, it was all over.
Yeah. Funny
thing how turnovers really change how the game works. Yeah,
it's absolutely devastating for Maryland, who came into that game undefeated and knew it, to some extent, that maybe they weren't everything they were cracked up to be. Kyle's mentioned Illinois and Kent and Howard and WVU and all that. They barely beat WVU. I mean, they beat WVU by a score, by 6 points. And WVU's just, they're not very good in a really weak Big 12. They're a middle runner. Kent is Kent and Howard is Howard and Illinois is Illinois. What else can you say really other than they've faced one real team and got slaughtered? And of course, they got slaughtered in a bit of a fluky way because of all of the turnovers. But are those turnovers really flukes? Like who is Baby Tua right now? You know what I mean? Who is he? And is he? I mean, let's look at the stat lines for Tua right now. Against West Virginia, quarterback rating of 177. Against Howard, 203. Against Illinois, 150. Against Kent, 173. These are all really nice scores. And then against Iowa, 88. And then we already talked about the interceptions. Look, completion percentages, WVU 72%, Howard 81%, Illinois 74%, Kent 75%. All fantastic completion percentages. And then against Iowa, 55%. So the question is he only decent?
Iowa's secondary is just phenomenal. I think they're one of the best currently right now in the country. Like it's something ridiculous where they're they're taking more interceptions than they are allowing touchdowns this year, which is ridiculous.
Although probably a bit inflated by getting 5 of them in one. It wasn't all 5 in one quarter, but still. Yeah, when it comes to Maryland, the question really is, Tagovailoa, who is he? How good is he? Is he the guy the recruiting stars said he is? Is he the guy that Howard and WVU made him look like? Or is he the guy that threw 5 interceptions against Iowa? He didn't look great last year, but 2020 was 2020. It was a rough year for a lot of us. Yeah, I mean, Nomad, he can be both. And I think when it comes to me, it's just kind of an unknown. And what's nice is that based off of Ohio State's secondary play as of late, you don't look at that and say, well, he can rip apart bad secondaries, therefore we're screwed. So when it comes down to it, I think a big part of this game will simply be how well do our defensive backs cover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Kyle, do you see any firepower outside of the quarterback position for Maryland? Dontay Demus Jr. is out. He's out for the season.
Yeah, that was their big one here that I was going to point out here. His that was his favorite target to throw it to. He leads the teams and catches by far yardage. So I think it's the next guy up there, and that's Rakeem Jarrett.
Yeah,
who has the most touchdowns for the team for second in the team in receptions, second in the team in yardage as well. So I think it's got to be Rakeem Jarrett, and this is Josh and Jones' time to step up as well, and he's third on the team as well in yardage too. Another target here, and I think this is going to be a big. You got to keep our eyes out for the tight end here.
You want to stretch before attempting this name, Kyle?
Take a stretch. Let me crack my neck here a little bit here. Chigoziem Okonkwo.
There you go. Chigoziem Okonkwo.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Got it.
He's probably more of a red zone threat, more of a short yardage. Yeah. B+.
I'll take it.
Short yardage threat for Maryland, a goal line threat for Maryland. Of his 11 catches on the year, 3 of them have been for touchdowns. He's only getting he's getting, he's not, his average per catch is fairly low, especially compared to the wide receivers. It should be noted that of the 3 wide receivers, if you add together Rakeem Jarrett and Jason Jones's yardage, it does not equal what Dontay Demus was getting yardage wise. And then I think and I'm not going to try and do the math on this. I think you put Okonkwo's yardage in there as well. I don't have targets. I don't have that stat available to me at the moment. You throw that stat in there as well, and I still don't think it equals the yardage that was being produced by Demus. Now, how much of that is availability or time on the field, and could you see the other guys, step up and fill into that role? Maybe. But I think this is a big game for Denzel Burke and Craig Young and Sevyn Banks. I don't know if Cam Brown's going to be available for this game. He is dealing with a new injury, so not sure on his status at this point. But we've seen the maturation process of Denzel Burke this year, and I'm sure you see him matchup, I would assume, on Rakeem Garrett, potentially, or maybe they're just playing sides. But yeah, I don't know, Kyle. Anyone else on the team you're worried about from a offensive standpoint?
Not I can really think of here. That the rushing attack against Iowa was pretty much it wasn't all that great. They had under 100 rushing yards. I mean, they averaged over 5 yards a carry, but by the third quarter or even halfway through the second quarter, Maryland had to just start passing all over the field there. I guess keep an eye on Tayan Fleet Davis, who's their main running back, but they do like to get other running backs involved too. Colby McDonald, Isaiah Jacobs had gotten the ball a number of times against the Iowa game too. So I don't know. After seeing the rushing attack against the Iowa defense, I'm not too worried about it. But if you do look at their first game, Fleet Davis did have a really good game, averaging almost 7 yards a carry for $123 in that game. But I'm not too worried about the rushing attack. I think if you're Ohio State in this game, you got to keep Baby Tua contained here, since he is a little happy feet and likes to get out of the pocket. So I think that's going to be one of the key things that Ohio State's defense needs to do. And I don't think we're going to see a lot of big sacks in this game because of the mobile quarterback.
To answer your question, Buckeye Esquire, yeah, I think you probably see some spy work here. I would assume my assumption would be that mostly Simon, not so much Mitchell. I would say Simon and or Hickman would be my presumption on that.
Yeah, I would definitely assume it would be Hickman. Get somebody who has a little bit of a speed, being able to catch him there. So I think if and when Ohio State does have a spy, it would be the bullet position. That would be Hickman.
Both Buckeye Esquire and Nomad bring up Craig Young. Craig Young, who was playing a lot of bullet, seems to have been bumped back to safety in order to provide a bit more depth there, as Ohio State's attempting to figure out the safety position still a little bit. So I think he's playing a little bit more of what Ohio State refers to as the man safety, the slot safety, whatever. I forget the exact terminology they use for that, but like they tend to have their single high safety, and then they tend to have what they call their cover safety. And it's not. They don't use the old strong free system. But I guess if you were referring it back to that, you would say strong. Of the two, he's playing the strong safety. No, Cam Martinez is mostly still playing corner at this point. I would expect him to just be in the rotation at corner.
Yep. So speaking of defensive backs, if we go back to talking about Maryland here, they have two talented. I'm drawing a blank on the word talented and experienced pair of safeties.
Yeah.
Jordan Mossley and Nick Cross back there on safeties. Both of them, this says a lot too, both of them leading the team in tackles. So that tells you that maybe CJ Stroud might have a good game here, seeing that I think when I was doing my research here, the top three players on this Maryland defense is their defensive backs here. If you're looking for somebody else up front here, look no farther than their main defensive end, and I'm going to struggle on his name here, Jared.
Okay.
Number 97, Sam.
Sam, come on, you got to try.
Okay, Inonu. Yeah.
Nomad asks, is microwaving nachos ever acceptable? No. No, that was about as acceptable as.
So Sam is leading the team with 6.5 tackles, 5 sacks for the team. Do note that this Maryland team does play like a 3-3-3-4 type of defense. And so with them playing like a 3-3-3-4 defense, him still getting 5 sacks does say a lot about him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm better than that, Nomad. I know.
Is he?
Maybe.
We don't pronounce names correctly on this show. It's what we do, or maybe what we don't do.
Other than that, Jared, after like researching from their teams here, I just don't really see anybody who really stands out a lot. Nick Cross, who's their safety here, has 2 interceptions for the team. They do have a true freshman who's starting one of the outside linebacker positions there too. Keep an eye on him. Brandon Jennings, I believe, is his name too. But I'm not really too worried seeing about this defense here. I think if Ohio State's able to execute properly on offense, they're going to be able to score.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. By the way, Kyle, we're going a little over schedule. We need to get to our ad read, then we'll come back. We'll make some predictions. But before we do that, Okuwano. Okay. The correct answer was Okuwano.
Since you were able to pronounce his name, I'll let you go first, Jared.
All right, let's take a moment and let's hear from the Iron Bean Coffee Company. Who is the Iron Bean Coffee Company? Well, Kyle has been doing a cool thing lately with the Mad Canadian ad reads, doing some listener reviews, and I was informed we have from Nomad in our Discord. He tried the peanut butter and chocolate. He says, so the Buckeye is spot on, not overpowering like some, I'll say it, shit PSLs out there. Liquid pumpkin pie in a coffee cup. Yeah. PSL being pumpkin spice latte for anyone playing along. You taste the coffee, which is always good, and the chocolate and the peanut butter. So yeah, that was one of my fears with it. So that's Nomad's take on the peanut butter, the new peanut butter and chocolate flavor over at ironbeancoffee.com. A bunch of new flavors. If you're into flavored coffees, they added a bunch of new ones. We just talked about the peanut butter and chocolate. Nomad sent a picture. He also got some cinnamon roll. If he gets us, we might talk about that one next week if he wants to get us a read on that. There's also a butter pecan, a banana Foster, salted caramel mocha, vanilla hazelnut. Those are the new flavors over at ironbeancoffee.com. That's Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
This episode is also brought to you by the Mad Canadian Bbq Company. Mentioned at the top of the show that Mad Canadian will be in the OLC Shrine Cafeteria this Thursday, 4 to 7. Let me read you one more review that the Mad Canadian has over at his Facebook page here. Got someone here that said, hey, we picked up some brisket and pulled pork meals for lunch. All of us truly enjoyed both of them. Ordered both kinds of sauce on the side so we could try their homemade Kerry Floodwater sauce. And after one taste, we didn't even open the Sweet Baby Ray's containers. Their sauce is fantastic. Couple of us who dislike baked beans even had to admit that those beans were outstanding. We will be repeat customers for sure, and will absolutely recommend their food to our friends and family. Yum! Exclamation.
Ooh, two?
Two, yes.
Oh my goodness.
What more do you need? Go check out the Mad Canadian and his food truck. If you can't make it out this week, check out his social media or us next week. Find out where him and his food truck will be heading to next. Mad Canadian Bbq Company, the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
All right, Kyle, it's time to make our predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have for your Ohio State player to watch?
I think this is going to be his breakout game here. I think it seems like almost every game we have a different breakout person. So I'm going to choose somebody different here. I'm going to go with number 44, JT Tuimalau. I think JT is going to he's starting to really come along here, starting to get a lot of more pressure here. I think he's just going to have a good game. It may not show up in the stats, but I think he's going to be very disruptive here and getting a lot of pressure on baby Tua. So I'm going to go with number 44, JT Tuimalau.
Yeah, I think we've seen an incredible improvement from the defensive tackles from like week 1 and week 2 to now. I think we're still sort of waiting for that breakout game from some of the defensive ends. So yeah, that's a good pick. I, however, will be going with Denzel Burke. He's already broke out, but I think if you're trying to slow down the Maryland offense, you have to slow down the passing game. And right now, in my mind, whether it be true on the depth chart or not, he's CB1. And it starts with CB1 when you're trying to stop the pass. We could see Cam Martinez continue to establish himself here. Maybe Sevyn Banks steps up and becomes the guy who we were sort of relying on him to be before he got hurt and before he missed several games at the beginning of the year, or why ever it was he was missing several games at the beginning of the year. But yeah, I'm going to go with Denzel Burke because to me, he's CB1 right now.
All right, cool. Enemy player to watch. I got their now number 1 wide receiver, Raheem Jarrett. I think if Maryland's going to have any success, it's got one of the wide receivers has to pick up here, and I think it's going to have to be Raheem Jarrett in this case here. So I'll have Raheem, but Jared's answer is the correct one.
Baby too. I've already spent minutes explaining why that is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Key matchup here. Again, Jared's answer is correct here, but my key matchup here. Again, I feel like that this is probably a cheap way out, Jared.
Isn't it always?
But I'm going to go with consistency with CJ Stroud. Seeing him being able to.
So is that Stroud versus himself?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Stroud versus himself. Yeah, we'll do that. Being able to be efficient like he was against the Rutgers game, making good decisions, tucking the ball when he needs to, getting a few yards. So yeah, I'll go with CJ versus himself.
All right. Kyle said I had the right answer, and Kyle was right. I do have the right answer. It's Ohio State secondary versus the Maryland passing game as a whole, which goes to like both of Kyle and I's answers for the players to watch, whether it be the quarterbacks or the wide receivers or the tight ends, just sort of lumping the passing game in together against Ohio State's entire secondary.
All right, cool. All right, the spread for this game as we locked them in earlier this week, Ohio State by 20.5. And who do we have for this week's guest picker, Jared?
This week's guest picker, he goes by Florida equals Buckeye in our Discord. He's an interesting fella. He's one of our newest Sloop Cats. We really enjoy having him around. Listen, he might be connected. That's all I'm saying. He might be a little bit connected. That's all I'm saying. He might have some inside info. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, he's guest picking this week. He is picking Ohio State to win and cover with that -2.5 points. And Kyle, I Did I say 2.5? 20.5 points. I agree. It's Ohio State to win. I think they cover, and I don't think it's even a difficult cover. I think they slam this cover.
Yeah, I think they win too. Maybe not as big of a slam as you have, but a convincingly win. I do have Ohio State to beat the spread here at 20.5. I have the final score here of Ohio State 49, Maryland 21, being that Maryland gets a cheap touchdown at the end when Ohio State was up 49-14.
I mean, Kyle, our scores are pretty close. They're like, maybe not as much as me. What? There's like 7 points of difference between our two scores.
Yeah.
I have Ohio State winning 52-17. That's about right for me. It's going to be in that general area. I feel pretty confident in saying so. Right, awesome. By the way, Florida equals Buck says, he says it'll be similar to last week. That's his entire, we know we always invite people to give rationale for their picks. Short and sweet to the point. He simply says it'll be a similar game to last week. Kyle, any additional thoughts on this game, whether it be from the Maryland side, from the Ohio State side, before we get into the Ask Sloopcast questions?
No, I think this week a lot of Buckeye fans, and I'll reiterate it too. I think a lot of Buckeye fans want to see consistency this week. Are we going to see the same team that we saw last week that just completely dominated Rutgers, who gave Michigan a run for their money the previous week, or maybe it was 2 weeks before that? Are we going to see Ohio State dominate them the way Iowa did the previous week too?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest question here, and I would say yes. I would say yes with C.J. Stroud getting that rest, getting presumably his shoulder healed here, maybe dealing with the battle between himself too, with all of the just the anxiety and the pressure being QB1 too. I think getting that week off really helped him out. So I think CJ Stroud will have a great game here as well.
I agree. I think sometimes you just have to wait for like the pop to top off the top to pop off the champagne bottle. And then after that, it's all good. And I kind of think that's what we had last week with CJ Stroud. Kyle, let's do some Ask Sloopcast. Let's start with Austin's over-unders. It was not Buckeye Zach.
Yes. All right, cool. All right. Austin formation. Here are his questions here. Maryland fourth down attempts at 3.5. I'm going to say under, because it's going to be out of hand before they need to start doing fourth down attempts. At that point, they're like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ohio State, I think this game plays out a lot like the Rutgers game last week. I think Ohio State makes this not a game fairly quickly.
Yep. All right. Ohio players with a pass attempt in this game at 2.5.
Does he mean Ohio State players? I'm pretty sure let's just assume he means Ohio State players.
Yeah. Or maybe he means players from the state of Ohio.
Who would that be? None of Ohio State's quarterbacks are from the state of Ohio. Stroud's from California. McCord's from Philadelphia. Miller is from Arizona.
All right. So we'll go ahead and just assume Ohio State players with it.
Tua's from Hawaii.
Right. I don't know. I'll go with under, because I'm going to assume that he means players from the state of Ohio here.
Yeah, we might see some McCord snaps in this. If we see any Miller snaps, he'll probably just be handing the ball off.
Mm-hmm. Maryland pass completion percentage at 62.5.
See, now that's a great question.
I'll go with over. I think he'll get some easy passes, some dink and dump type of passes to make his percentage up. So I'll say above. I'll say above.
Yeah, I think they're going to be afraid of the pass rush. I think they're going to try and give, like Kyle said, some dinks and some dunks and try and, yeah. I think this is a great question. I think what might be a more important question is like, where's Tagovailoa? Oh my goodness. Where's like his yards per attempt? I think might be the better gauge here.
Yep. Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson touchdowns at 1.5 over.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
Take the over on that one.
Yeah.
Trevion Henderson carries at 19.5.
Under.
I'll go under. I'm going to go under because they're not going to rely. Yeah, they're not going to need Trevion that much. Get the carries to other players as well. So under. The year of the tight end. Year of the tight end catches at 5.5. Man, last week was fun getting to see some tight ends and some tight end / fullback catches and touchdowns in there. I don't think we're going to see as many catches. Getting over 5 would be awesome to see, but knowing Ohio State, I'm going to go under.
So was it an anomaly? Was last week an anomaly, or is it finally the year of the tight end?
Anytime we get our hopes up, Jared.
Yeah.
I go under.
I'm going to go under too, but it makes me sad.
Yeah. Ohio State interceptions off of Maryland quarterbacks specifically, or mainly a baby Tua specifically, actually. Over under at 1.5. So Ohio State getting more than one interception off of baby Tua.
I'm gonna say over. I think 2's the right number. It's not gonna be 5. I don't think it's gonna be 5. But I think 2's the good. I think 2's the good number here.
I'll go over. My head says under, but my heart says over. I'm going to go over this time.
Okay.
I'm going to go over.
It is right, not Nomad.
All right. Let's answer some more questions here. Buckeye Esquire asks a handful of questions here. Will more young stars emerge or emerge / have bigger roles on defense? Maybe Cam Martinez and or Craig Young, perhaps?
Cam Martinez, I think, is getting more and more snaps. He had a real rough week 1 and week 2. He kind of disappeared for a little bit. Then he's been coming back lately and doing really nice. And yeah, I think we will continue to see more Craig Young as well. Like I said, they're trying to figure out the safety position right now. They have a lot of guys back there. I just don't feel like they have the rotation figured out, and he's a part of that. So,
all right. Another question here: is it time for Day to truly embrace the tight ends as real receiving weapons, or are the wide receivers just so studly that we cannot veer too far away from those concepts?
Like there's only so many balls. Like there's only so many passing attempts. It's hard. It's hard.
It is. Yeah. It is. And a lot of that comes from what the defense gives you too. If they're going to guard, they're going to double covered Olave and put a spy on Wilson too. Leaves it open for a tight end as well, or JSN as well. It's so many weapons on here. It's really tough. Let's see. Could we see more plays with a tight end set in the backfield as a fullback to create some more unique red zone plays for Penn State and Teton prepare for? Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's what we saw.
Give them something to think about.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we saw with the Rossi touchdown last week.
Yep. All right. Will Maryland take us to the brink in an almost let down game, or will we devastatingly beat the shell off the turtle?
I think we've answered that with everything else.
Burke gets 2 interceptions this week, and one of them will be a second career pick 6.
See, I feel like that's just a statement that you put a question mark at the end of. and I'm not. So I'm not.
So Ohio State.
That's a big.
Ohio State's defense has had 3 defensive touchdowns in the past 3 games, and 4 this year. So 4 of their last 5, they've had defensive touchdowns, which is crazy to think about. I didn't really think about that, but yes, it is 4.
Haskell, Burke, Martinez. Was it?
So,
guys, who was the 4th one? Was it? Was it Hickman? It was Hickman. Okay. Chad is saying Hickman. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yep. All right. One last question here. Which silver? Oh, we already answered that one. Never mind. All right. That's all the questions we have here, Jared. I think this is a good stopping point here, Jared. So go ahead and take us out.
Yeah. Tonight's just visit. You want to join these goofballs down here making fun of us during the show? Nope. No, Nomad. That's not what's happening. Just trying to distract us and run the show off the rails. That's their job. But if you want to join them, come in here and join the Patreon, patreon.thesloopcast.com. You get, as far as digital stuff goes, you're going to get everything you want for $3 a month. It's next to nothing. If you sign up for an entire year up front, you get a little bit of a discount. I don't know, it's like 12% or something like that. But basically it ends up being like $32 for an entire year. You get premium access in the Discord, including like a recruiting channel, a live game day channel. Once a week, we all get together and watch a football game together in the Discord. You get to watch us record these live. So there's a lot of cool digital benefits, early access to episodes that you get by signing up. So I would encourage everyone to do that. And Kyle, I talked a long time, so I think I'm done. Do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
Quick update for those who are worried about Trevion Henderson. He's good. Urban Meyer talked on Tuesday that Henderson's good to go.
Who did? Who talked?
Day?
Yeah. That's who talked. That's not what you said.
Okay. Coach Day said that he is good to go. Whatever I said.
Listen,
apologize.
We all have Urban on the mind right now. We all got Urban on the mind right now, Kyle.
All right, sorry about that. Coach Day said that Henderson's good to go. Apologize. And
Urban was busy with his own team, plus some other shenanigans.
Justin Fields, speaking of NFL, Justin Fields now named officially the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
Cool.
Whether the Andy Dalton was healthy or not.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is now QB1.
Yeah, and like my brother is a Bears fan, and he said to me, week 4. That's what he said. He said week 4 or week 5. Don't put him out there right away. The offensive line's garbage. Wait till like week 4 or 5. So yep. I think had Dalton stayed healthy, this is exactly when it would have happened. And he probably maybe wouldn't even have been in yet, except maybe for last week. But is what it is. I just hope that they can keep him clean. The offensive line in Chicago is horrendous. So I just hope that they can keep him clean, and that's it. I hope they can keep him clean and upright as much as possible. All right, Kyle, that's it. That's it. He's nodding. Kyle's nodding. Yes. I can't make that this isn't the visual medium joke anymore. Yeah, so that's it. Tonight's ending music is by a Columbus-based band. They'll be playing the Woodland Taverns this Friday night. They are called Mojo Flow. Guys, if you've never heard Mojo Flow before, just listen. And like I know for you YouTube folks, you actually have to like go down into the show notes and click a link. Oh my God, is it worth it? Trust me on this. Go see Mojo Flow live. And if you can't do that, I mean, you got to see them live. You're not living in Columbus the correct way if you've never seen Mojo Flow live before. That's all I'm saying. You're not doing it right. No Buckeye Zach. So with all of that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, everyone, this is Mojo Flow.